When the Turkish Nationalist Army under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk marched into the city of Smyrna, nowadays known as Izmir, on the 9th of September 1922, the Greek government had no option other than to accept their defeat and withdraw the Greek army from Anatolia. With the loss of this war, the dreams of a greater Greece ended with it. But what was this dream? What was his grand plan to establish a powerful Hellenic state? And how was his plan carried out by Greek leaders? These topics will be discussed in this video. The Megali idea was a Greek nationalist dream that had the goal of uniting all Greeks in a single large state. This state would cover 2 continents, Europe and Asia, and 5 seas: Ionian Sea, the Aegean Sea, the Sea of Marmara, the Black Sea, and the Libyan Sea. Important cities in this state will be Trebizond, Adrianople, and of course Constantinople. This state will encompass the former holdings of the late Byzantine Empire. So many Greeks saw it also as the dream of restoring this empire. The roots of the Megali idea came from the desire of Greeks to free themselves from occupation of the Ottoman Turks. Since the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the Greeks were under the rule of the Ottoman Sultan. The Greeks were guaranteed certain freedoms, such as the right to worship their own religion, but were still treated as second-class citizens to the Turkish Muslims, and in time unrest grew. In 1840, a secret organization called the Society of Friends was founded with the goal of liberating Greece through revolution. The secret organization planned to launch revolts in the Peloponnese and Constantinople on the 25th of May 1821. However, the plans of the secret organization were soon discovered by Ottoman authorities, forcing the revolution to start earlier, and the first Greeks revolted on March 17, 1821. These revolts would culminate in the Greek War of Independence that would last a further 8 years and would end in the establishment and independence of the First Hellenic Republic. This Hellenic Republic, succeeded by the Kingdom of Greece in 1832 under King Otto I, a Bavarian prince that the great powers of France, Great Britain, and Russia imposed on the unstable Greek Republic, was composed of the Peloponnese, islands in the Aegean, and central Greece, and so this was a country whose population was smaller than the population of the same ethnicity outside its borders. Most ethnic Greeks still resided within the borders of the Ottoman Empire. The Megali idea, also known as the Great Idea, was already known and popular among Greek citizens, but it was for the first time mentioned among Greek politics in January 1844, during a debate in the Greek National Assembly. Prime Minister Ioannis Koletis pitched forward his vision. The Kingdom of Greece is not Greece, it is merely a part, the smallest, poorest part of Greece. The Greek is not only he who inhabits the kingdom, but also he who inhabits Ionia, Salonika, or Serres, or Adrianople, or Constantinople, or Trebizond, or Crete, or Samos, or any other region belonging to the Greek history or the Greek race. There are 2 great centers of Hellenism. Athens is the capital of the kingdom, Constantinople is the great capital, the dream and hope of all Greeks. In October 1862, King Otto I was deposed in a popular revolt, and Prince William George of Denmark was chosen to succeed Otto as King George I. A big difference between the 2 royals was that King George I was offered the title King of the Hellenes by the Greek National Assembly, not King of Greece, This indicated that King George I was seen as king of all the Greeks, regardless of where they lived. The first additional areas that were incorporated into the kingdom were the Ionian Islands, which were given to Greece by the British Empire. The practical reasoning was that the islands did not have a great strategic importance. Britain would still maintain a strategic presence in the Mediterranean from the island of Malta, and the accession of King George I to the Greek throne, a committed Anglophile, also influenced the decision. When the Russians decided to wage war with the Ottomans in 1877, the Greek people were exuberant and wanted Greece to enter in the war alongside Russia. But Greek politicians knew that the Greek army could not compete against the Ottoman army, and that the weak Greek economy could not support major military investments. Greece stayed neutral, but at the Congress of Berlin in 1878, Greece was given Thessaly and parts of Epirus, and the Greek kingdom annexed these lands in 1881. Due to a dispute on Crete and the increased violence between Greek Christians and Turkish Muslims on the island, Greece decided to intervene. A revolt broke out on the island that demanded the union of Crete and the Greek kingdom. But Crete was under the sovereignty of the Ottoman Sultan, and the large Ottoman army was sent to the frontier near Thessaly in response to the Greek actions. After a few skirmishes at the border between Greek and Turkish soldiers, the Ottomans declared war on Greece on April 18, 1897. The war did not go well for the underprepared and smaller Greek army, and the Ottomans quickly routed the Greeks. Only through intervention of the great powers did the war end in May of the same year. Greece ceded small parts of Thessaly to the Ottoman Empire, and this defeat was a firm blow at believers of the Megali idea. But the idea did not die. After the defeat of the Ottomans at the hand of the Italians in the Italo-Turkish War in October 1912 and the Albanian Revolt a year earlier, Christian Balkan states of Greece, Serbia, Bulgaria and Montenegro took this opportunity to attack the weakened Ottoman positions in the Balkans. The armies of the Balkan League defeated the Ottoman forces on all fronts, and the Greek navy outmatched the Ottoman navy. For Greece, the First Balkan War was a major success. The territory of the kingdom doubled. Greece annexed southern Epirus, parts of Macedonia, the islands of Crete, Lesbos, Chios, Ikaria, Samos, Samothrace, and Lemnos. Only a month after the First Balkan War had ended, Bulgaria, unsatisfied with what they had gained in the previous war, invaded Greece and Serbia. Sensing weakness and the dispersal of Bulgarian troops, Romania and the Ottoman Empire intervened in the war, and this was the nail in the coffin for Bulgaria. Greece acquired the Western Thrace from Bulgaria in the Second Balkan War. A great deal of success of Greece in the Balkan Wars is thanks to the reforms of Prime Minister Eleftherios Venizelos. Venizelos was a major supporter of the Megali idea, and after a coup by military officers in August 1909, was Venizelos invited to become Prime Minister, and in the following election his party won a majority of the seats. Venizelos brought about a series of reforms in society, the military and administration. His reforms were a major reason for the success of Greece in the Balkan Wars. In the summer of 1914, the First World War had begun, and Greece declared its neutrality. The Greek state was divided in foreign policy. After the assassination of King George I in 1913 by an anarchist terrorist, King Constantine I succeeded him and became King of Hellenes. Constantine had served in the German Imperial Guard for his military training, and had married the sister of Kaiser Wilhelm II. King Constantine was popular among the people due to him being the first king born and raised in Greece. His victories in the Balkan Wars and his name indicating that he is the successor of the last Roman emperor, Constantine XI, that would reclaim Constantinople. Due to the major presence of the British Navy and his favor for the Central Powers, Constantine supported a neutral Greece. On the other hand, Prime Minister Venizelos was an avid Anglophile, and after the entrance of Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire on the side of the Central Powers, Venizelos demanded the entry of Greece into the war on the Entente side. But the king still refused. This is also the reason why the Greek armed forces did not support the Entente Gallipoli campaign in 1915 and 1916. In August 1916, a military coup in Thessalonica by pro-Venizelos officers broke out. Venizelos created a new government around the newly conquered regions and declared war on the Central Powers, creating a new Macedonian front. The nation was now divided in two, between supporters of the king and supporters of Venizelos. After tremendous pressure from Venizelos forces and the Entente in June 1917, King Constantine I abdicated the throne in favor of his second-born son, Alexander, and he became Alexander I. With the new king, Greece officially joined the war on the Entente side, and after the Central Powers were defeated, Greece was given Eastern Thrace and parts of Asia Minor, in accordance with the Treaty of Sèvres. The border now lay a few miles from the walls of Constantinople. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk had formed a government in Ankara, declared that no outside power would occupy parts of mainland Turkey. This brought them in conflict with Entente powers that had desired to carve up the country. After landing in Smyrna, nowadays known as Izmir, in mid-1919, the Greeks pushed deeper into Anatolia, and it looked like the Megali idea would be finally realized. This would be until King Alexander I died from a monkey bite he sustained while he was walking his dogs. The death of King Alexander led to the return of King Constantine, which angered the Entente forces and the Venizelos loyalists. This caused friction and division in the nation, and furthermore, the Entente powers stopped supplying Greece with arms and they signed peace treaties with Ataturk. The Greek advance was stopped at the Battle of Sakarya in late 1921, and this battle ended Greek tactical advantage, and since the battle, the Greeks only retreated westward. Only a year later, with the Turkish capture of Smyrna, did the war truly end. Following the war, a population exchange between Turks and Greeks took place, and this marked the end of the 3,000-year inhabitants of Anatolia by the Greeks. This defeat and the exchange ended Greek aspirations for the Hellenic Empire in the Eastern Mediterranean. In the following decades, the great idea was put to the sidelines. In the Greco-Italian War, Greece occupied southern Albania for a time, before the nation was overrun by the Nazis, and after World War II, the Dodecanese Islands were given to Greece from Italy. Conflict with Turkey over the island of Cyprus emerged after the island gained independence from the UK in 1960. The Greeks living in Cyprus demanded union with Greece, enosis, but the Turks living on the island preferred a division of the island into Greek and Turkish halves, Taksim. The conflict came to a boiling point when the Turkish armed forces invaded northern Cyprus. This was in reaction to the Greek-sponsored pro-enosis coup d'etat, which would make the island a part of Greece. The island has been divided since. Nowadays, the Megali idea is seen as an idea of the past, and most people in Greece don't think much of it anymore. Only smaller nationalist parties, like the Golden Dawn Party, still strive for a Hellenic Empire. The Megali idea influenced a major part of Greek foreign and domestic policies for over a century, but nowadays it is no longer considered. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If there are any improvements that I can make, leave them in the comments below. Goodbye.